I know my prayer. I know my vision. I know what I'm working towards. And a lot of times I'm just like, okay, if I was in the big leagues right now, how would I handle this? You and I team. You and I team. You and I team. You and I team. That's a unity. You and I team.
Meg, girl, welcome back.
Thank you.
How are look at okay, so those listening have to head over to the YouTube channel and just look at how laid and pressed my friend Meg's hair is. So I want
Yes.
to first foremost and thank her for being the incredible black woman that she is, because you work today, right?
Yes.
She works today, a full-time job, went and got her hair did. My fellow black woman, you already know what that's about. Came home, munched on something, and hopped on the screen with me. So I just want to say, girl, thank you.
It's my pleasure. I mean, you motivate me because you work a full-time job and you will record, you will edit, you will like
With my head on the table.
the girl, like your grind is so unbelievable that it motivates me to go just a little bit harder. Cause it's like you've been doing this. I'm like, shit. I'm trying to catch up, sis. So
Girl, I appreciate that reflection, because you already know how it is. You already know how it is, but we're doing it. It's all about just no excuses. No excuses this year. But I'm really excited, you guys, because Meg has agreed to do a monthly segment with me where we're going to be popping out guaranteed two bonus episodes a month, where we'll just be shooting the shit in the chat, talking about cultural events. And these are my more laid back ones. I don't have to set the mood for like the Oprah conversations. You know what I'm saying? So this
this
one
is
I
where we
get
get
to
to just
just,
talk our shit and
we get to talk our shit.
just let it be.
So, first and foremost, wait, hang on. Congratulations.
Thanks.
So if y'all don't know, Meg is one of the hosts at the Morning Wood. She hosts your segment on Mondays,
Yeah, I'm on Mondays, 8 to 11.
8 to 11. Y'all have to check her out. Like, I really do thoroughly enjoy that team over there. Y'all are doing it.
Thank
But you
you.
this is like your second actually major celebrity interview that you've done, right? Because your
Well,
first one
I'll
was
be
that comedian
filming.
guy.
You said what? I
The
mean,
first
no. So with Grown Folks Table Radio, I did 5. So
oh
I'm.
Let me put my microphone down.
My bad, but it
Always
was.
correct them, sis. Always correct us.
But no, so and I just did a major one last week, and I have another one coming up tomorrow.
So who did you do, Meg? Who did you interview last week?
I got to chop it up with Jim Jones, the weatherman Jim Capo, like
The Jim of
yes,
the Jones, the Jones of the Jim himself.
it's it, it's it.
Huge congratulations to Meg. Like, the reason why I am constantly giving this woman her flowers. We're constantly pumping each other up. Because that's Tribe. Like, I call her for everything, all of that. But first and foremost, like, I love to be this woman's cheerleader, because when she sets her mind to like manifesting something, it gets done like all the time, with Grown Folks Table Radio, with the Morning Wood, with broadcasting, with this radio show that you've been doing, and like all of these things that you've been calling in. So when I see that you're sitting down with these high profile interviews, I'm like, because that didn't happen overnight. That wasn't just like, oh, I'm gonna just hop on a show and they're just gonna give me a thing. Like, she had to build trust with that. She had to build rapport. Like, it was a lot of stepping stones to that moment. Like, girl, how did it feel?
It felt great, and mainly because like, and a lot of people, like, because you were my friend at the time, but like people really don't know. Like, literally, almost 2 years ago, I lost everything. Like, literally everything. I left a toxic job, got in a car accident, couldn't work, had to give up my show, had to give up my apartment. Like, I literally was at ground zero, and it took a while to get back into the groove of it. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And it took a while to even get in the position to be on the Morning Wood when it was, when she was building the team and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So and mind you, like, I went to broadcasting school and I graduated in 2008. I
And what
didn't
year is it,
launch.
y'all? I need like because y'all be worried about time, y'all be worried about overnight successes. So I need y'all to like listen to this.
And I'm
You
not even where, to me, it's like I'm nowhere near where I want to be, but I'm on the path of getting there.
mm,
But it took like reevaluating my life because it's like I have bills, I have a lot. Like there's really no money in creative and broadcasting. Like when we was in broadcasting school, they told us like don't make, if you want to make money, you can't be in radio. And yeah, that was before podcasting and internet radio and the
and
avenues
social
were
media and YouTube and all that stuff.
like that's before it really started taking off and like the money was there. But even now, like the podcast game is so saturated and a lot of people like I take what and I know I've talked about it before, but like, and when people do my show, like, or they rock with me, like they know like how serious I take it, how
Mm-hmm.
much preparation I put into it, how much prayer and thought. Like I don't just present something that's good for me. I try to give something that's good for like my guests and the people listening, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But
Yep.
it even took a while for me to have the courage to like you had to convince me. You were one of the people that told me like, yo, Spirit's telling me you need a show. Like I was like,
I
I
remember,
can't.
like, man, it's like it seems like it's yesterday, but I know it wasn't yesterday. Like, as you're telling me this about all of the things that you went through, like, I remember being on the phone with you and you having those breakdowns and like literally being like, damn, like I'm really going through it. I'm really in it. Like you weren't even thinking about broadcasting because you're like, fuck, I gotta make sure I'm good. So to
Right.
see you at this point, to see not only the shift in the direction of where you're going, but like your spiritual, emotional, and
Right.
psychological direction has been like incredible.
Because it starts here. Like, it really, really starts with, and I tell any entrepreneur, I tell anybody who's like really working on like a project, like, I always tell people go meditate. Like, get your mind right. Because if you don't have that mental clarity,
Mm-mm.
like, you're not even in a position to receive the blessings that could come to you.
Oof. Oof.
Like when they talk about alignment and divine timing, like, and like I say, like I'm so not where, like I'm happy where I'm at, but I'm not where I want to be. You know what I'm
And that's
saying?
everything. Like that's everything. Like happy where you're at as in like you're enjoying, you've now learned to enjoy the process and
Right.
like
Because
the
it's a
journey getting
process.
there. Oh my God.
It's a
Like
journey, and you gotta really like. But even with you and Culture Fuzz and what it's grown into, like I remember when you first started it, like, and you were just and you still were figuring it out, but it was like you were doing everything because you hadn't found your niche. But it's
yep.
like but even still, it's like finding the dedication after working your full-time job.
Listen, and it's been like, oh my gosh, like it's been such a balance and a definite like me getting the self discipline to just thug through it did not happen overnight. Like Meg reminded me, I think last year that I've had Culture Fuzz for like 5 years, and my jaw like dropped. I was like, "What?" She's like, "Yeah, bitch. I remember like the first time we posted it, like what?" And I needed that, like that. I will forever be grateful for that certain reflection because I was like, this is the most consistent, like even though it wasn't consistent, but this is like the most consistent project that I've ever done.
Right.
So like to see that as the first thing, like, wow, maybe I really am capable of this. So like little things like that added up and over the years. And what was that like last year? So what, going on 2 years now? I technically count it as 2 to 3 years that Culture Fuzz has been alive. Like even
Right.
though she's been like born, but she's been like alive the last 3 years. Like fully intentional. Branding has been completely carved out. Mission statement completely carved out. Now it's just about like we just need more traffic. We just
Right.
need more eyes on it. So and like I wouldn't have been able to do it with Tribe. I was just gushing with my boss today. Like, it's really, really crazy how having people around you supporting you is so fucking important. So fucking important.
I thank God every day. Let me tell you, like, my job, my boss, like, he will, like, literally just for the Jim Jones interview, I had to go to work, come home, and go back to work. Mind you, I had to go in early to split the shift, and tomorrow I got another interview, so I'm going in early tomorrow. But to have a job
yes,
that allows that freedom.
Yes.
And the funny thing is, after when I came back from the interview and he was like, how are you? And because he could tell I felt good. And I was like, and good. He was like, that's so amazing. He was like, everybody should work doing what they love. He's like, I know you're good at this, but you really need, it's just important for you to do what you love. And I just thank God.
That's incredible.
That I'm in this position where it's like, bruh, I'm able to work full time, carve out my schedule, and I can say, like, even on Mondays, like, I literally do the morning wood and go to work after. And even that Monday, I'm an accountant. Mondays are the busiest days, especially first thing in the morning.
Which makes for a really good radio segment.
But it's just one of those things, and it's like, to bring it back to what you said, it's like a lot of times you may think it's going to be an overnight success, or you want that overnight success, and it's like, nah, when you really dealing with like real life, and you got to really grind, like, you got to just put in the work and the hours and make that shit happen, because everything else is going to line up after that. But even on the journey, you got to appreciate the shit. You got to literally appreciate every win, every opportunity, the flexibility. Like, it's just operating from a different frequency, because it's like, well, what am I doing it for? Okay, if I'm doing it for this, then all right, let me just have my mind right along the way, because I used to pray to be able to do the things I'm doing right now.
See, and that's the key. So, like, I wanted to touch on, I'm like, and there can be people listening to this that are like, I can't even conceptualize what the fuck you're saying. Like, I work a job that does not allow me to do anything. Like, I have no flexibility. So me, like, I have a similar situation as Meg, like, in terms of, like, my boss is extremely supportive of my platform and what it is that I do. And, like, I recognize that and how rare that is. So it's an interesting dynamic. But Meg and I, like, actually manifested that. Like, we prayed for that position. Like, we were in situations very similar to what I just described. Like, I was working at a doctor's office where, like, it was literally my life. Like, I had no energy after. I was working maybe 10, 15 hours of overtime a week. Like, it was not, like, I really thought I wasn't going to make it. And it was then that I began to plant the seeds within myself. Like, I want to create a situation for myself where I have room to develop Culture Fuzz, where, I still have a steady income, but Culture Fuzz is going to be like, I need space and time for Culture Fuzz. And, like, slowly but surely, as I kept that intention with every move that I made, every interview that I went on, every, like, application that I sent to a job, I'm like, as long as there's room and time for me to do Culture Fuzz, like, I will take this job and I'll take that position. And because of that, I strongly believe I'm in a position now that I don't feel like my energy is completely gone at the end of the day. I don't feel emotionally drained. I don't feel anxious. Like, I feel that I'm in a safe space at work now, like, where I'm so balanced emotionally and psychologically that I now have room to curate quality content for y'all.
Absolutely. And I think it's like, when you outgrow a situation, your environment becomes claustrophobic.
Girl.
And you literally have to make the choice for what you want to manifest, because anything is possible. Like, literally, like, so I used to, because when I had to quit that job, like, I had to quit because it was such a toxic work environment. It wasn't even safe for me to be in. You know what I'm saying? And when I knew I had to get out of there, and when shit hit the fan afterwards, I was just like, okay, I know it's got to be better than what I was in. You know what I'm saying? And even like when I think of everything that happened through the pandemic, like I was so protected at my job. Like they was like, oh, Megan, you ain't going nowhere. Like you good. I didn't take a pay cut. I didn't. But when I think of what happened with people at the at my other
Yeah.
job, motherfuckers had to literally take like a huge pay cut before the pandemic and
Damn.
work more and just all these things that happen in that environment, and it's still toxic. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I say all that to say, like, a lot of times when your environment becomes too much for you, you have to make the choice that you're going to make a decision to better yourself and to get out of it. And you have to create the reality that, yeah, I'm going to find something better. Fuck y'all.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to be able to be like, you know what? If you take a pay cut, if you take a loss, like whatever the temporary L is, the win is going to be way better.
Absolutely. You have to let go of something to make room for something new. And like my whole thing is like, and like one thing I wanted to touch on is like what you were talking about with making a decision. And it's doesn't even have to be something as drastic as I need to go find a new job right now. It can be something as simple as changing the thoughts that you're feeding. So instead of being
Yep.
like, I'm not able to get a job during this pandemic, all you have to say is, I am able to get a job during this pandemic, and
It's
repeat
literally
that.
like the perfect job is waiting for me because of the pandemic.
See?
And literally, like, and you know, and I know we talked about it last episode, like my tattoo. Like, I created every time I feel even more powerful with that tattoo because I have a reminder that I create as I speak. And, you know, there's a couple books by Florence Scovel Shinn, like Your Word is Your Wand, The Secret Door to Success. Um, Your Word is Your Wand, The Secret Door to Success. There's another one. But she just talks about how speak it. Speak everything into existence. Like the power of the tongue has the ability to impact and make an impression on your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is what is the brain behind your brain. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And your subconscious mind is always receiving programming, which is why people talk about subliminal messaging within the Illuminati and shit like that. Like in the CIA, like that's where that comes from.
Mm-hmm.
It's subconscious mind programming. Your tongue has the power to program your subconscious mind to manifest the things that your brain cannot comprehend the how. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And once you understand the power of the tongue, start speaking of, like, speak what you want to manifest. You know what I'm saying? And even if you don't believe it, still say it
Exactly.
because it's gonna
Exactly.
happen. And it's like the more you speak it, you know, even in the Bible, there's so many biblical references where they talk about, you know, the power of the tongue. And um it's just really, really important that, like, that's why it's certain people, like, if they're so negative or they're in that negative space, like, I can't, you know, some people can't
But
receive
like
it.
even that, even in a negative space, you're still casting a spell. And I wanted to point that out. I'm like, think about the dialogue that you're saying every single day.
Right.
And really feel what Meg is saying, because the power of the tongue goes with casting negative spells as well. So if all day, every day, all you're doing is repeating negative thought after negative thought, which may not be your own thoughts, by the way. They could be the thoughts of your mama, they could be the thoughts of your daddy, they could be the thoughts of
Your environment.
like exactly. And you may not even realize you've adopted these philosophies for yourself. You're just like, oh, I'm around these people, so I guess that's just how you're supposed to think. But if you're constantly repeating, I cannot lose weight, I cannot get a new job, I cannot get a new car, what do you think is going to happen? What do
Right.
you think that you're feeding? So what would it hurt if you just, even if you're just playing around by yourself and you're just like real quick, like, I can't get a car, like, just see how it feels.
I used to, and again, like, because I dealt with depression, you know what I mean? I've talked about
Absolutely,
my
we all
mental
have.
health a lot. I'm very open, like, dealing with clinical depression, dealing with hormonal depression, it's, and and doing it naturally without the meds. You know what I'm saying? It's literally a mind game I have to play with myself. You know what I'm saying? Like if my brain wants to release more sad chemicals than happy chemicals, you know what I'm saying? I have to watch the thoughts I'm thinking. And I have to watch what I'm consistently telling myself, because it's like I'm literally battling a fucking chemical function that I don't have that I can't control it, but I can control what I feed it, and I can control where I stay. And I remember, because I used to be very like, I was an agnostic pessimist. Okay, I didn't believe in God. I didn't believe there was a God. If there was a God, I was like, this motherfucker evil. He don't help nobody. All he do it and then I watched The Secret, and before I watched The Secret, I had seen What the Bleep Do We Know, and it was the science experiment where the guy talked to water, and he told water, "I hate you," and he told water, "I love you." He told water, "You're beautiful." He told water, "You're ugly." And when he looked at the molecules, the microscopic molecules from what he was saying had a difference. You know what I mean? And then I was like, well, if that's true, then maybe, you know what I mean? And that was the start of opening my mind to how my thinking can really play out into, because like my life was like a mess at the time. That's when I was like angry, fighting. I was in an abusive relationship, like literally everything.
Wait, that's super dope that you brought that up. So I think this is a great starting point for those who may not necessarily understand or believe this, what it is that we're talking about.
Right.
So this is kind of so it's Dr. Emoto's water experiment that Meg is talking about. And you can find it on YouTube. I'll link it in the description box of wherever you're listening to this. But this is scientific receipts. Like, this is science. This is molecular structures being altered by energy. Right. So science is, and I'm an Aquarius. I'm very analytical. So we need receipts with everything. Right. So the fact that this is one of the many things that started to change my belief system as well. So the fact that I was able to get these receipts, well, like, you can't deny science. Like, right. You just can't.
That was when I first was like, wait, does science prove religion? Like, is there a missing link somewhere? And that was what opened me up to receiving the information that maybe my thoughts can change my reality. And you know me well, and like, you're one of the people that call me like a master manifester, because it's like I diligently and actively manifest the things that I want. You know what I mean? And I know the things that I haven't manifested, it's because I haven't aligned to the feeling of it. And that's why it hasn't manifested. And the thing with like the law of attraction and just the power of manifestation is that a lot of times it's hard to accept that when we create our reality, we create the bad shit too.
Interesting.
Once you can accept the fact, like, because I started thinking like, and then the person that wrote Rhonda Byrne, like, she wrote The Secret. She also has a book called The Magic and a book called The Power. And, you know, I was reading these books at like the peak of my depression, when it was when I was in college, and I just had I was healing from the traumatic things I had went through. Yeah. And I was starting my accounting business, and I was going to school for accounting, and I just read so much because I was in school. So because I wasn't working full time, I had all this time to read all these books about the law of attraction, metaphysical stuff. A lot of these books are on Instagram. I mean, not Instagram, on YouTube as audiobooks. So you're not able to read.
The free audiobook corner on YouTube, my favorite.
Dude, I be like, when I'm at work, I listen to these books now. Or when I'm not, like, every book I've probably read 2 or 3 times, but when I need a refresher, I'll listen to it on YouTube. And like, but Neville Goddard, reading his stuff changed my life. Neville Goddard was like one of the first people to really talk and lecture about New Thought and the law of attraction in the 40s and 50s. So Most of his books are free to download. A lot of his actual lectures are on YouTube right now. So, but it's just about understanding the science behind consciousness.
Absolutely.
And quantum physics. It's all it's crazy once you kind of open your mind and it's like, okay, there is the divine, there's God, there's this great power of God, you know what I mean? But we have the free will to tap into that godly nature and that God power through our power of thought and our subconscious and our power of manifestation. And it's like, you know, at one point we were all connected to that power, but then religion came, you know what I mean? And religion was something that was used to take the power from our connections and make it seem like we have this thing that's so far outside of us that he chooses when he's going to answer your prayers. And it's like, no, you can, even if you're not religious, having the right mindset can still manifest greatness in your life. You know what I mean?
1000%.
We all have the power to manifest whatever we want, good or bad. And, you know, sometimes if things don't manifest, it just means that there's something better. Girl.
What?
It just reminded me, remember that time, like, when I had that business deal that went bad?
Oh, and you were so upset.
But this is why tribe is so important in having people around you with the right mindset. Because I'll never forget, I was so down and I was so mad that this shit did not go through. Like, and I'll never forget, like, before we got on the phone and you were like, you know, I know you may not be able to receive everything I'm saying, but I know it's going to click. And we talked for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and you just spoke so much positivity to me and over the situation. And you just had to help me come to grips with like, yo, at least you were negotiating a $25K deal that would have made $650. Like, you were just like, bitch, you upgraded on that. Just to have this deal in front of you and you were almost negotiating it. Like, we upgrading, sis. You know what I mean? But it's like,
it was like giving you the space. Like, tribe is so big on that. Like, you do the same thing for me. It's like giving you the space to let you feel what you're feeling. And it's just like, look, I know you're going to come on the other side of this. So I'm just here to remind you what you already know, but you just can't see it right now.
Right.
But like, yeah, dude.
But
like,
it's important to have that because it's like, you know, you really talked me out of it. I told you, I was like, I'm so happy to have you because you talked me out of a depression. Like, because it's easy. Like, I'm human. I have trigger. And that's why, like, I'm sharing, like, yeah, I manifest shit. And yeah, things are good. But I still don't get every business deal I want. And when I don't get it, I still get mad at fucking God. I cuss God out. I cuss my angels out. I get mad as fuck. I'm like, why the fuck did you put this in front of me if you weren't going to give it to me? You know what I mean?
Anger.
Yeah. But then I'm like, okay, all right. Because, you know, they don't care. They're like, whatever.
Yeah, it's like we did this for you because you're
like, you
to be great.
You get over it. You know what I mean? But it's not peaches and roses all the time. I'm not happy all the time. I'm not, like, I go through real mental shit. You know what I mean? But it's important using those tools to get yourself out of it.
And after the fog settled, you learned something, right? If anything, you learned more about yourself. Or revalidated this is what you want to do, you know? Because, like, I think I even remember, like, unpacking that and you were talking about the logistics or the details. And I was like, yeah, I don't think that would have been a good one for you to get into anyway.
Right. Because the person that I would have been getting the investor, it was like, you were like, do you really want to work with him? And I'm like, no, but I could have bought him out eventually. And you're like, yeah, but, you know, and everything, like, when it comes to the law of attraction and just manifesting, like, you may not get everything you want, but it's just knowing that you're on the path to something better. You know what I mean?
And sometimes God and the universe test you and will throw stuff at you to quote unquote distract you. So saying no, and like I did an episode with Curtis King where he talked about that, where he's like, I'm just saying no to more stuff just because it's shiny, just because, you know, like it seems like a good opportunity. At the end of the day, if it does not align, just as much as it's your responsibility to say yes, it's also your responsibility to say no. Because it's like,
And
if
you
it,
got to be okay with that. And you
man,
got
and
to.
speaking of saying no, so I need to like vent a little bit because I've been very frustrated. So I am
Yes,
building
let's
my
go.
platform like list. No. So I've been building my platform as an influencer, and Culture Fuzz is a blog that bridges the gaps to a lot of products and a lot of companies and a lot of business owners. So I get a lot of people who reach out who want me to, promote their products, promote their business, and I'm happy to work with anyone as long as it's beneficial, not beneficial, but as long as the brands align with each other. If it makes
Right.
sense, we gonna do it. But the companies that really irk me right now are the ones who approach me and they're like, do you want to be a brand ambassador for such and such a company? And I'll go and look. I'll be like, oh, your clothes are cute. I like your message. I like, oh, your jewelry is popping. Cool. What do you need from me? They're like, so we'll give you 60% off of the entire website plus like $5 for shipping. And then like anytime after that, you'll be the first one to know when our releases are. I was like, so am I a VIP customer or am I an ambassador? Like, which one are you?
That shit
So,
is so weird to me. Like, I be feeling like they be scamming.
like, that's
Like,
exactly what it is. Because it's
I
like,
hate
that's
it.
that's
It's
not an
because it's like,
ambassador.
first of all, you're literally capitalizing off people who don't know better.
1,100.800
Because if
thousand
you're a
percent.
brand ambassador, like if you had to the people with 1 million followers or whatever, or a blue check, a verified account, they not having them go online and pay. You know what I mean? Like, no, you're giving them a box. You gave them a cute little brand ambassador box, but because you know what I'm saying, and it's like you're trying to capitalize off of somebody who is growing their brand, who you think doesn't know better.
That's just it. And like a lot of these influencers do not know better. So they're very green, which is fine. We all have to start somewhere. But they don't know that as an ambassador, like a company is seeking you out so they can benefit from your following that
Right,
you worked really hard for to
right.
gain their trust, which is again fine. Like if you want to work with that brand, if it completely makes sense, then like do it. But they should be sending you that for free with every single. And I've worked with like major brands. I'm talking
Right.
about like Shiseido, Tom Ford, and I don't have thousands and thousands and thousands of followers. Like, I
But
just
let
want to
them
let y'all
know. It don't
know. Like,
matter. Who?
exactly. And that's what I want to say. Like, a lot of these agencies will have you out here thinking, like, oh, you need 10,000 followers and no one's going to look at you. That's a bold faced, straight out misconception. That is a myth. It is not true 1000%. They look at engagement, they look at the quality of your content, they look at your
Mm-hmm.
outreach. You could have 500 followers and you can still get deals. People will still want to fuck with you. So, if somebody wants to charge you, whoever's listening, whoever is working on being an influencer, you should not even be paying a dollar. Not
Mm-hmm.
one red cent. If someone is looking for you to be like, oh, can you be my ambassador? Like the other day, I had two companies. They didn't ask any type of questions. They were like, what is your address? We're going to send you our products so you can review on our social media.
Oop, oop.
Other companies where I've had to say no because I have a YouTube video up where I talk about a birth control company. The company fucking loved it. When I first started, they're like, oh, can we use it for marketing? I was like, yeah, sure. Let them use it for free. I didn't have any clout. Like, okay, fine. I can understand it. I began to keep an eye on it and notice that like A, this video is getting views. B,
That shit
y'all are
got
getting like it has
views.
views.
Still.
Like still relevant to this day. So that's how I know like, oh, this is actual like quality, valuable content. Got it.
Right.
They were getting so many hits from and still are getting so many fucking hits for my videos. So I guess they got like a new like marketing department or whatever the fuck because someone came to me and they're like, "Oh, we found your video online." I was like, "It's been up for like 4 years, but cool."
Right.
And
Like,
they're like, "We'd like to use it for our marketing campaign." So I reminded them like, "So I don't know if y'all remember, but you literally hired me last year to like curate some more videos for you guys for this price, this price, this price." And I've been keeping an eye, like letting them know I've been keeping an eye on the statistics. This is why you need to keep track of your content, what you put out there, is um who is interacting with your like content and stuff like that. Cause I was like, in bold-faced letters, you do not have permission to use my content as marketing unless there's a contract or mutual agreement. I forget how I worded it. It was all fancy and
Good
super
for you
professional.
though. Protect your content.
1000%. And it was hard because it's like, I love working with them. I know that I will get even more traffic had I let them use it. But I was like, it's not about that. The principle is that I work really fucking hard at what I do. And I take a lot of pride in it. And clearly you guys loved my video, like not once, but like a handful of times. Pay me. Like, nah,
Right.
forget that. So I ended up saying, they're like, okay, fine, we'll hit you back if we ever get a program. So they hit me up a couple months later and they're like, okay, we want to hire you for 2 TikTok videos. And it's like, realign.
You gotta
Realign
do
that
it.
shit.
And that's the thing. I think it's like they know that people are eager to get out there.
Yes.
And
Oh, social
if
media.
you have to be okay with like saying no and turning things down, because if not, that's how they get the power over you, by your eagerness and not holding on to like, no, it's cool. Like sometimes you got to go with the flow and be like, okay, if I lose out on this one, more will come. But that goes into what we were saying with speaking it into existence and having that mindset where that no may hurt. You know what I'm saying? It may be hard as fuck, but it's about, understanding your brand and what you're building.
Yep.
Like even with the new show I'm working on, I'm not collaborating with as many people on this one. Why? Because I know what I'm building. And I may piss some people off because they may have worked with me before and I'm not going to work with them on this one. But I know what I'm building.
Yep.
And I'm not here to work with everybody.
Can't. I've tried it. It's not possible.
Even when it comes with like, being brand ambassadors and stuff, it's like, yeah, you may want to be out there and the repost and all that other shit. But even when it comes to like a place where you got to buy it in order to be a brand ambassador, that means they may not even really repost you.
Exactly.
Because you're just a customer. You're like that's like, that shit to me, and especially because it started kind of happening around the same time, like
especially during the pandemic, and all these copy and paste DMs, you already know.
Right. And you gotta realize, like, when companies are sitting in their meetings and they're looking, because remember, I'm an accountant, so like I know how, like, oh, how can we boost sales? Oh, people, they like influencers. We should get some, what do they call them? Influence? Yeah. Because, they're old and they don't really know. So they got some young person. They're like, oh, or their daughter or somebody told them, like, just have influencers do it. They'll pay for it. They'll do that shit. You know what I'm saying? And you got to understand, like, look at it. Because I remember when I used to want to model. And I would meet with people who were agents and stuff. And they would plan photo shoots. But they not supplying hair, you're not supplying the outfits. Like, I gotta get all this shit.
That was like the old school scam. That's like, like when those when malls were so popular and like agents, quote unquote agents, will come up to you and be like, come to like our acting school or come to our agency, we'll get you an agent. And you show up and they're like, for $700 we'll get you like classes, auditions, and blah blah blah. And that was the old scam back in the day. It's like, nah, and like
now it's the influencer scam. Or even like I was looking at like a talent agency, because now interviews, like auditions, are virtual now. So because I follow certain pages, certain things popped up in my algorithm, my ad, and I saw like it was like an audition for a thing, and it was advertised as a virtual audition or some shit like that. So I signed up. I was like, okay, let me see what they talking about. Like, I'm like, and sure enough, it's like, well, if you pay this, it's normally $700, but for $100 now. And I'm like, oh, y'all just
sounds like a sales funnel.
But they're capitalizing off the fact that now, people have to do everything virtual. So stay woke, y'all.
Yeah, 1000%. We're here to let you know. I'm here to let you know. Like I've even done like real brand ambassading, like pre-COVID. Like when I lived in
Right.
LA, I was hired by 7 Up, Little Debbie's. Like I was that
Right.
brand ambassador, like passing out like coupons and shit. And not once did I ever have to pay for uniform, costume, transportation. Like they were quick to reimburse you. So like
Right.
when a company it wants you to represent them as that is the sole service, that is a service that they're seeking from you. We want you to put this on and take a picture for our profile. That's a fucking service. For
Bitch,
their
send me the
marketing,
send
that is
send it send it.
send the check. Here's my cash app. Here's the contract. You can do 50 now, 50 later. But it's I just hope this falls on the right ears of like if that's the direction that you want to go, if that's how you want to make some money. Like there's tons of third party platforms like Influencer and Telefluence that will link you to companies and help you get paid out. But as someone who's done dozens and dozens and dozens of campaigns and stuff like that, not once have I had to come out of pocket. You could go to my Instagram, Rissa SoFar, right now. You will see I have less than 3,000. I'm almost at 3,000, but I'm like less than 3,000, but I'm still maybe making like 100 to 200 a month off of like being like
And
influencer.
that's a start because people, I think it's important you said like you're under 3,000 because people think you have to be at 10 to
Mm-hmm.
be influencer, and it's like no, if they're out there, you know what I
Yep.
mean? You just have to go for those avenues as you're building it, you know what I mean? And it's even like there are some, like, let's say if you really wanted to like, I would suggest, like, even if you didn't feel like you, because I see people all the time where they're able to take like a really good picture, like they know how to take good pictures of shit that they buy, and they're able to get reposted on that brand, and then they negotiate some type of brand ambassadorship.
Yeah, they'll be
You know
like,
what
you
I
take
mean?
bomb ass pictures. Can you take some more? We'll hire you. Absolutely.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like you don't have to go that route just by, and I've seen people do it and they don't have 10,000 followers. They don't even have 5,000, like, but they're starting out, but they've been able to leverage these connections based off taking good pictures with stores that they already like shopping at
Yep.
versus because and honestly that shit's a fucking algorithm. Like even those messages are an algorithm. So it's
Mm.
like I have like these four to I get like maybe two a week. I'll get two fake messages a week where they're like, oh my god, check this page out. They're
Mm-hmm.
looking for this, they're looking for that. And I'm like, fucking scam. Like, you know
Yep.
what I mean? But there's so many ways to go about it. But I think part of the problem is like when people get caught up is because everybody wants to be an influencer.
And that's the thing. And like that was another thing that I was gonna touch on. I was like, the influencer market, hold on, my throat got dry. Hold on. Real talk, like the point that you're making about everyone wants to be an influencer is like social media has the game fucked up. Like it is the
Man.
biggest okey doke of like the millennia. Like it's incredible what philosophies are created based off of what's pushed to the forefront. So everybody thinks that they're famous because they went viral on TikTok. Like the TikTok world, that's just these kids is out
Whoa,
of
whoa.
control, bro. Like
Okay, so one time me and my girls were out at brunch fucked up, and this girl, like, she was like, oh, because like we had our little section turned the fuck up, okay?
yeah.
And I remember she was like, oh, I went viral on TikTok. I'm a TikTok influencer. And
She
she
said
got
that
like
to
a million
y'all?
views. Huh?
She said that to y'all?
Yeah, because she wanted to take a pic. I don't know, some shit. We were drunk.
Oh, got it,
We were
got it.
like drunk talking to people, and yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't remember much. I just remember she's like, yeah, I went viral on TikTok. I'm kind of like a TikTok influencer. And and it's like, the thing is, I know a couple people who have gone viral on TikTok. I mean, they have like over 20,000, 40,000 like followers. And I'm like, damn, that's crazy. Like
Mm-hmm.
the TikTok influencer, that's a whole nother.
Yes, it's
Because
like
you can literally get viewed. That TikTok has an amazing algorithm.
1000%.
Let me just say that.
1000%.
Like,
I mean, they're kind of thinning out a little bit too. I mean, all social media platforms do, but that because TikTok is becoming more saturated. But like the whole influencer thing, it's like, all right, my unpopular opinion is that not everybody's an influencer. Just because you got a couple photos where you got a few thousand likes, or you got a few thousand followers, doesn't necessarily mean that you are influencing something. I'm not regardless. Being an influencer is being a business. It's more than just taking a picture and posting it. You got to think about the caption. You got to think about the hashtags. You got to think about the time of day it's being posted. You got to think about the lighting, the camera you're using, the angles. Like, it's, like the contract that you have with the person that you're doing the campaign with. Like, it's so many levels, and it's like,
and I want to say something, but I have to say it very tactfully. Because I'm in this, and I don't want to talk about this person because they are a friend.
Yeah.
But I noticed they're not like a supportive friend of mine anymore. Like, they don't support shit I do.
We don't like non-supportive friends.
Hey, like, for real. So I'm really kind of like, fuck this person anyway. And like, because I feel like if you have a friend that you see is doing shit and you can't even say congratulations or wow, that's big, I got a problem with you. Like,
I want my friends to celebrate with me.
Dog,
I want my
like,
friends to like, yeah.
And I'm not even to be Hollywood or some shit, but I have like, there's some people who I've been very close with or would think I'm close with and didn't congratulate me on a Jim Jones interview. And I'm like, how can you not be happy that I like, that's like the biggest interview I've done so far. And the lack of support and the lack of encouragement, it's like, nah, I don't need you to blow my dick up, but damn, you can't like, as excited you were for me and other people, like there are some people who were just so happy for me, like super happy. Even your boo was like, damn, tell her congratulate, like,
yeah. And I was like, I don't think y'all have ever met
ever other than the
and he was like, damn.
But it's that type of, so it makes me question, but I digress. So one of these people that's like, I can tell they kind of want to be an influencer because they may do like a makeup tutorial or some shit, but it's like your background's fucked up, your aesthetic isn't all there, your lighting's bad, like you're going about the shit all wrong. And
it's like, I want to help you, but I don't think you're in the place to receive it. So
right. So fuck it. But and that's the thing. It's like people think it's just as simple as making a video. Like, no, like even this, I'd invest in this backdrop for other shit. It's a full fucking brick panel wall.
It's cute.
You know what I'm saying? But there are, I had to invest in an iPad. I invested in a camera, the same one you have. You know what I'm saying? I invested in backdrops. I invested in lighting for the simple aesthetic.
Yep.
Because there's so, and I don't even want to be an influencer. I'm trying to just produce radio broadcasting content, but the aesthetic for the tools and the tools we have to use to put the content out there, the aesthetic is so important to the algorithm.
Yep.
Because if your aesthetic ain't right, you're gonna fucking get buried because you're gonna automatically put into the this ain't shit algorithm versus let me put you with this algorithm.
You're already like the algorithm on any social media platform is a beast. So you're already up against numbers and statistics like what you were saying. So the quality of your content, it matters so much, and it matters in a way that it's like one less thing for you to compete with. Like it's like with Culture Fuzz, like I know my content's quality at this point. At this point, I fucking know it's quality. And I know that because the algorithm is letting me know, because people are putting it in the comments, because people are genuinely engaging because of quality content. And like for the people who are listening to motivational stuff or business people like Gary Vee and all those other people, I know you hear them saying quality, 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 quality. Like it is above everything. Anyone can put the camera on portrait mode, point it at yourself, point it at someone else, point it at something, and be like, I took a pretty picture.
If the background of your house is fucked up, see your basic ass, like, not like that, but if I could see your basic ass shelf with all your fucking food shit on it in the background, or I see you got this shit that looks like a hoarder shit in the corner, like, it fucks up your aesthetic.
It does.
Don't try to be no fucking influencer and not even take the time. Like, even when I film shit in my bathroom, thank God I have a nice little closet and a door in my bathroom. So when I get that angle, it's an okay angle.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But it's those little things where it's like, you'll never be taken seriously as a quote unquote influencer or makeup, like, it just, you have to put the thought into those things before you're putting something on social media to try to build your social media brand.
And maybe this is something that y'all have never heard until right now in this very moment. Maybe it's like you see that the times are changing and you're like, ah, shit, I got to get a line. I got to make a presence. I got to figure something out. I get it. We all started somewhere. I was throwing shit at the wall at one point too, seeing what would stick. But I also took my failures as lessons. I took the post that I got 1 like on or 2 likes on, and I would be like, okay, well, what's wrong with this? It's like, oh, I do need a cleaner background. You know, such and such who I follow, who has millions of followers, like her videos are always clean, they're always tight. And if you go to your favorite beauty influencer or any influencer, I want you to go to their YouTube. I want you to filter their videos to their oldest to newest and look at the first video that they ever posted compared to the most recent one. And I want you to take note of the steps in their growth. They did not start out with a $1,000 camera and LED lights like a lot of us started with a tripod and an iPhone. Some people didn't even have a tripod. Some people had shoe boxes and just leaned it up against something and was like, this is how I do eyeliner. Like, but the thing was, they stayed consistent. And it's like, okay, so let's say your first video does have that shit in the clutter in the background. It's like, all right, let's just break it down so it doesn't feel like maybe you're necessarily being attacked. It's like, if you're watching something, like, just put yourself in that viewer's chair. If you're watching something and you're trying to focus on the person doing their makeup, but in the corner you just see a pile of dirty fucking clothes, you're gonna constantly be like, is that like a clean pile? Is that a dirty pile? Like, did she just not fold it yet? Oh, the eyeliner. What are we doing here? You know what I'm saying? Like, I won't be focused on what's the intended content in the video.
Right.
Now it's you and your pile of laundry.
Right. But and I'm not saying it to be mean, but because I know.
No, it's not mean. Like, I know people are sensitive and they're gonna be like, these bitches. It's like,
let me tell you something. I know probably because people, I know by how our conversations, I could guarantee people be like, damn, she always on somebody's head, or she, you know what I mean? But like, the same critiques that I have for others, I have for myself, and I hold myself to that same standard.
Meg talks like this to everybody.
Yeah, even me. Like, I'll be like, bitch, that shit look fucked up. What was that thing? Like, and I will pick myself apart because that's just, I'm an over perfectionist, and that's sometimes my problem. But I say that to say, like, the way I talk about other people's stuff, I hold that same microscope to my stuff. You know what I mean?
1,000%.
And it's so important that even if you're starting, like, because the only reason why I was able to invest in the stuff that I have now is because I got in a car accident that made me lose everything 2 years. So I'm not trying to say like, oh, yo, and like, nah, it takes time, but you can easily, like, Walmart sells fabric.
Like, don't come in the game with the misconception of you can just plop up a video and think it's gonna go viral. Like, as a person who really tried to do that 6 years ago, I'm gonna let you know that's not the way.
And you've been putting, but that's the thing. Like, Rissa been putting in that work. Like, work. You have consistently put in the work.
Yeah.
To where it like, and we've said it, like, it's flow, you're in your flow now, but it took a lot of trial and error and, oh, well, let me try this, let me try that. Like, and that's the thing. It's like, people think, oh, I'm going to be a makeup influencer. And it's like, wait, are you even a makeup artist? Like,
do you love it that much?
Are you even that invested? Or you just think all these people are just doing straight YouTube? You know what I mean? Like, I know, like, I was following one girl who's like a self-taught makeup artist, but she doesn't do makeup on other people. She just does it on herself. And that's her niche. And she was able to, like, do shit with TikTok, and it's cool. It works for her. You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't make her a professional makeup artist. She's just been able to capitalize on what she does for herself. But her background, like,
and that's the thing. It's like, I don't think, like, the real influencers don't really start out as influencers. Like, that's why it's like, I didn't just say, like, oh, Rissa SoFar is gonna be an influencer. It's like, nah, like, I'm riding the wave off of Culture Fuzz. Like, I have a mission that, you know, Culture Fuzz is just a leg of that. So, like, all these makeup artists, like beauty influencers, it's like they were just making videos for the shit of it at first. Like, it wasn't,
they were really just makeup artists and wanted to practice and get out there.
Exactly. And then they built that audience and they built that trust with people, and they're like, oh, like, you know, she's not using these makeup products because someone hired her to use them for the video. She really fucks with these products. So then when she does get these campaigns, or whoever gets these campaigns, their followers already trust them enough to know, like, oh, like.
But that's the thing. A influencer, when the term first started, it was because people saw that when people would run ads on their products, they were able to influence their followers to purchase. The whole point of being an influencer is you influence people to buy.
Yeah. That's
the ending. Like, it's, you know, we live in this world, and even now, you know, I know, like, I'm big on podcasters because it's this over access to putting this thing out there, whether it's a makeup influencer or I'm gonna be a rapper, you know what I mean? It's like all these apps make it so easy for people to have, like, a popcorn career in whatever field, and it takes away from the integrity of the game for whatever it is. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So even when it comes to, like, all these influencers or people wanting to be influencers, like, what do you want to do? Like, what's really your passion?
Like, it's got to be more than just, I want to post pictures online and get paid for them, because it's like,
it's draining. Like,
it's not gonna. Yeah, you're gonna be a really sad, depressed person.
Like, and a lot of people don't even understand. Most of the time with these influencers, they have a content day where they
shoot the content.
Yeah, the content day where it's like, okay, I'm going to have my makeup, then we're going to do these 4 outfits, then we're going to have, like, then they'll have the day where they shoot all their pictures, then they have the day they'll shoot their videos, and then it's on autopilot. You know what I'm saying? But, like, a lot of people go into it thinking, oh, I got to do this every day. Like, nah, like, you too busy trying to be an influencer. You don't even understand, like, how much planning goes into that.
And that's why you need to carve out your why. You need to really be like, is this something that I want to do? And honestly, like, what is your why behind the pictures? What are you taking photos of? It's like, oh, I love this lipstick. Like, do you really love this lipstick, or are you just trying to get the brand to retweet you? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's very much like your intention, because if you don't love, and, like, if you hear this a lot, I'm gonna keep repeating it. If you don't love doing what you're doing, you will eventually despise and hate doing it. You'll be like, fuck, I gotta take another picture. Damn it, I gotta, like, buy another lipstick that I don't like just for the gram.
And we see all the time how many influencers are fucking depressed.
Yes.
There's a lot of influencers, quote unquote, like, they just thought that they could get everything for free, and they're still just as lonely as they started. Or they thought, like, you know, social media is a weird, dangerous, it could be a dangerous ground.
1000%.
Because, you know, you get so caught up in thinking what other people could be doing, or this whole, oh, I could be an influencer, or I'm going to do this and go viral, or, you know, it's like, a lot of people aren't even happy in that. Like, honestly, like, I've been posting more the last year, because I have to. But you know what I mean? Like, even I went through periods where, like, I would probably post my picture maybe, like, a few a year, because I just get so tired of Instagram, and I get so tired of oh, how many likes can I get? Or, oh, I wonder, you know what I mean? Like,
Oh God, yeah.
I get tired of that. But, you know, when it comes to growth, like the last reel I posted, that shit got like 1,500 views, like really
Go
fast.
off, go
And I was
off.
like, oh, growth. Like, but I've been actively working on my reel algorithm and working on getting, because it's like when you're trying to build yourself like as a brand or whatever, you know, like whether it's an influencer, whether for me, I'm a broadcaster, I'm building this brand and I need to leverage my engagement as I'm launching a new show. So I'm trying to test what works, what doesn't work. So seeing something where I was just advertising my show and talking about I'm going to do my show and it got that many plays, I was like, okay, algorithm growth, bomb, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like Instagram fucking with my algorithm on the reels right now. All
Yep.
right, let me, you know, but it's about understanding how to use social media, like if that's really what you want to do. If you want to use like, because a lot of times like you think like, oh, I need 10,000 followers for this network to hire me or to look at me. But like I follow a couple people that work for Vice Network and they don't even have 7,000 followers.
Yep.
So it's a lot of it's a lot. It's so easy to think that you have to follow this format to be big on Instagram when really it's like a lot of the people that did go viral, they never intended to go viral.
Or how many times are they going viral? Like the ones who are like one hit wonders, you know, like
It's a lot of
the
them.
new day and age one hit wonders. Those people didn't have a product, they didn't have a message, they didn't have a website, they didn't have music to promote, they didn't have any other part of themselves that they were building that they can bridge the gap to. They're just like, I did a funny dance and now it went viral.
And now they're stuck. And they're stuck trying to figure out how to leverage
Do I
it.
keep doing funny dances? Like
That's why, okay, so I saw a preview for this show, and it was a woman who went viral, and she got Insta famous and got a couple bags, blew through it, went broke. And she talks about how she was trying to live this influencer lifestyle and got broke. And it's like, you know, social media is this thing where it gives you instantaneous fame sometimes.
ooh, and that can be so traumatic. That can be like psychologically, that could fuck with you. Oh my God.
I don't see, especially because it's like, but my whole thing is like, if you go viral for like the wrong shit, like, so BET on YouTube, they have this show like I Went Viral, and they interview people who like have went viral and how
Oh, that's dope.
yeah. So, even like Tokyo Vanity, I think so. She's on Love and Hip Hop and she raps, but I didn't know she was the one who came up with the song "Go Best Friend." That's my best friend. That's my best. That was her video that went viral.
Okay.
And, you know, one thing she said, she was like, you know, if you go viral for something, don't try to keep doing that same shit. Capitalize and go to the next.
Yes.
And because you're going to keep, you know, trying to reinvent the wheel. And it's like you went viral because of it just happened. You just happen to go viral. You know what I'm saying?
And like the thing is, I'm trying to do the reverse of that. It's like I have something that like I enjoy doing every single day that I want people to, you know, take advantage of and benefit from. So that's why I'm doing these reels and I'm doing these TikToks and I'm doing these Facebook videos.
Your TikToks, bitch.
Thank you so much.
And I always share them. I know we're getting off topic, but this bitch is. I love how you embrace your goofy side, and I love how no matter what's trending, you stick to you.
Thank you. That means a lot.
My favorite one was the creep.
Yeah.
Because that was like literally. I couldn't wait till I was old enough to smoke with my brother and my cousins, and I could take that.
Go on the walk. Yep.
We gonna walk the dog. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, we going to the store real quick. Okay.
So yeah,
I like to make my content relatable. That means a lot. That really does mean a lot. I really do enjoy doing it, and it's still like I don't know if it's because I'm over 30, but like looking my family in the eye and they're like, yeah, we watch your TikToks. And it's like, and like one of my cousins is like, they're entertaining. And I'm like, I don't know what that means. And I don't want to ask. So I'm gonna take it for that. I hope you enjoy them. Like all for
No,
that.
I
But
love I love your creativity and your authenticity.
thank
And I
you.
think it brings it back to what we're talking about. It's like the why. What's your purpose? What are you doing it for? You know what I mean? Because it's like I it's so easy to get caught up in the trend, especially with TikTok, because once it's on TikTok, then it's on Instagram, and it's like, the algorithm be popping, it be popping, so, but it's so important to um understand your why and your authenticity about it. And I think like you've fucking mastered that on your TikTok, and I love it.
That means a
Like,
lot because it took a lot of breakdowns to get here. So like I'm very thank you for always being that mirror. I really appreciate that. If y'all want to go check them out, go to Rissa SoFar TikTok.
she's
But
fucking stupid. I guarantee you guys are gonna laugh. Like, she's so hilarious. And
I was like, I really feel I'm one of those people that like I think I was built for TikTok or like TikTok was just made for people like us. I was like, it's a very, very, very good thing. I did not have TikTok in the 90s while growing up because
right.
I'm gonna self-proclaim. I think I would have been like viral on TikTok a couple times, like back in the day. I had too much time. I reenacted way too many videos. I learned
I
way too
would have
much
been
choreography.
doing all the dances, because here's the thing:
That
when I
one,
was younger,
yes.
I used to tape music videos and learn the choreography.
Bitch, girl, more than a woman. I learned every step.
I
Every
know, even
step.
to this day, I know Janet Jackson, "Miss You Much," like, or it'll be some video from the '90s, and in my head, I'm like, like,
It's just
I
like
know it.
speaking of, okay, so I just have to highlight this really quick. Like I know this is supposed to be current events and we talk about nothing but current events, but we talked about current business mindsets. But I
Right.
digress. So there is this gymnast. I want to give Simone Biles and this other gymnast her flowers real quick. So her name is, I really hope I'm saying your name right, girl. I'm so sorry. Margzetta Frazier, UCLA gymnast, black gymnast. She did a floor routine to a medley of Janet Jackson songs, which included if I was your wait, yeah, if I
Yeah.
was your
If
girl, yeah, that one. So she like did the steps, she killed the routine, and it was just like it's just really amazing seeing the younger generation giving the older generation the flowers and the recognition,
right,
and it's just like an homage to just like thanking them for paving the way and blazing the trail. So she did that, and then Janet Jackson was so moved by it that she called her via FaceTime, and it was just a video of two magnificent black women, one young, one older, who just like fucking dominated the game, just giving the younger generation her flowers. Like to
right,
know that Janet, and we've always known like Janet and Michael were always, like Michael was very, very humble. Janet is
right.
extremely humble. To just know that even throughout all of the years, she still has that part of herself where she's like, she knows her why enough, or she
Hmm.
understands her why so much that she's like, it's about the younger generation,
Right,
like, so to see them still like give her thanks and stuff like that, and to hear her say like, I'm inspired by you, like I want you to teach me how to tumble, it's like, damn, man, like that's
right,
what it's about, so
right.
I just wanted to shout out to that moment because it was amazing. It's all over Instagram, Facebook. Margzetta Frazier, and
Hey,
then
UCLA gymnastic team be killing it. Like, for a
do
good
they?
4 years straight, their routines go viral. Whatever black girl they have on the mat, she goes viral
I'm
every
saying
year.
Black Girl Magic ain't no joke. I'm
Here for
telling
it.
you.
Black women
But
are killing it.
sometimes they be trying to put the Black Girl Magic in a box. Even still, to this day, 2021. So Simone Biles, who we all know and love, breaking records left and right all the time. So I think was it the Olympics?
I think
championships.
it was the Olympics.
Okay, so it's the
It
Olympics.
was
So
Olympics or it was one of the competitions for the Olympic. Like it was either the Olympics or like a qualifying.
thing for the Olympics.
Yeah, something like
Okay.
that.
So I'll post a link to the article if y'all want to like know the logistics to it. So basically, she's out here breaking records and making history at the same time. So earlier this month, she won her sixth national title, tying a record that has stood since the 1950s. Okay. Since the 1950s, she's tying that record. So while breaking history, she's simultaneously making history. So what she did, and I don't know if we can imagine this and conceptualize this, and I'll try to say it slow. She did a triple double on the floor, which is a triple twisting double somersault. So a triple twist and a double somersault.
That girl is a fucking beast.
That no woman in history has ever tried before, and only a few men are on record to have even attempted it. All right, she killed it. That's one trick that she did. And then the second trick that she did was a triple double, no, a double twisting double somersault off a balance beam, and the other one was triple double on the floor. So she did a whole bunch of shit on the balance beam, and she did a whole bunch of shit on the floor routine. So how she was penalized, the way that gymnastics scores these tricks is through like this alphabetical system that also corresponds into a numbering system. Long story short, they scored her high for one of the tricks, which I believe was the balance dismount. Either way, they scored her really high for one and then scored her really low for the second. So the reason why, and people were pissed, they're like, what the hell? Right. She literally did something. Like, it was like, no one is doing this. You know what I'm saying? So the reason why, I think it's like the women's technical something, they made a statement saying the reason why we did this is because basically it's dangerous and they don't want anyone breaking their neck.
Right. But like but she brought up a good point because she's like, so you want us to consistently raise the bar and compete, but you're penalizing me because no one else could do it.
I'm like, okay, so time out. The reason itself, to me personally, is like bullshit. The reason
is this
why,
a competition or is this a competition?
It's gymnastics. Everything's gonna break your neck.
If I'm the best and I can do the shit and I ain't hurt myself, why this bitch can't learn how to do it? Like, it's...
But not even that. It's like, why are we putting this through? It's like, everything you do in gymnastics is going to break your neck. You're doing flips. You're doing flippity rolly things on those like bar things that you hang on. Like, the movements, the tricks, and the momentum that you're going on, you gonna break toes, feet, back, spine, hips,
one
cheeks,
wrong dismount, one wrong somersault on the thing, you could break your whole fucking neck and die. Let's be real.
So the fact that it's like that was the reason, it's like then you should just stop. I'm not a gymnast. I'm just looking at the tricks that these people are doing, and I literally say I could never. I will literally break my neck. That is literally what I say. So it's like, then don't do gymnastics. Like, what the fuck? But what really kind of grinds my gears here is like, since when did we put a cap on raising the bar? Since when did we start limiting?
It was when a black woman started raising it.
And I didn't want to make it about race, Meg. I didn't want to make it about race so bad. But
and that's the thing is like, if there's anything we got to start doing is like, nah, it's about race. Because it's like, it is.
I know, and it's so sad.
And I mean, sometimes like I'm the same way. Like I've even been in situations where I'm like, I'll be passive, and I'm like, well, I'm not trying to play the R card. Like I'll even say that. Like I'm not trying to use the R word.
Yeah,
but it is what the fuck it is, and it's like, if she was a white girl.
And I thought that too. I was like, if she was a white woman, if she was an Asian woman, if she like any other race that was not of dark complexion, would it have mattered? Because if that's the argument that we're going to make, I'm like, okay, fine. I'm going to make a controversial rebuttal to that because, if we're going to believe in God, let's research the devil because what the fuck? Then why are we allowing? I'll make people mad. Why are we allowing transgender men who who changed from man to woman competes in all women's sports.
Oh,
I don't get it. I'm like so my
I hate
correlation
that shit. It's not
I
fucking fair
it's
because
nothing against transgender. It's just
no,
science
it's nothing like,
and
but
genetics.
scientifically, it's like you were genetically the male setup is the way a male body runs. You're stronger, you're fast. You have all this shit that has the female body beat by. That's just how where that's our genetic composition. So
Your
it
twitch
doesn't
muscles, your
matter.
running muscles, like
I
all
don't
of
give a
that.
fuck how much hormones you take
Mhm.
to emulate my hormone structure.
Mhm.
It does not change the molecular structure. Like there was one school, or there was one, it was like a track team, and it was an issue because it was a transgender that was from male to female. Excuse me, don't eat me up in the comments. I don't always know the proper
We're still learning.
pronouns.
We sis here. We're learning. Educate us. Don't
I'm
berate us.
learning. So hey, just don't kill me. I'm learning. But they didn't really win that much when they were a male competing against males. And then once they started competing against women in the track meet, in the women's track meet, they were winning everything. So it's like that shows you right there. And like people like will ask me all the time, well, don't you think women are equal to men? No, I say it all the time. I am a single woman. I know how much I need a man and for what I need him for. And it's for manly shit. Like,
Right. Right. See, and that's like, okay, can we touch on that? Because that is some feminine, divine ass shit that you just said right there. Because the narrative, one of the many narratives right now is, and like Damon was saying this in the last episode too, like,
right.
what happened to women saying that I need a man instead of
I
like I want a man? You know what I'm
Let me
saying?
tell
It's
you,
like
I'll be the first to say I need a man that knows how to be a man and then let me just be a woman and let me be the lady. I am tired. Like, I am so tired of being a
make a
strong,
phone.
independent motherfucking woman. Like, I don't do it because I want to. I do it because I had to. And I do it. I'm like, I say all the time, I'm not saving myself for Prince Charming, but I'm saving myself for relationship wise for my better half who understands what I need from him as a man and what I want to do as a woman. Like, there is a balance. The man is the protector, the provider. The woman is the foundation, the nurturer, the
The
comforter. She
creator, the
steers it,
like
the creator. You give a woman a house, she turns it into a home. You
the
give a
man
woman groceries.
protects the queen. The man protects the woman. She's like the creator. She creates the vibes and the essence at home. Like, read any divine feminine energy book. You want to be more feminine? You want to tap into more feminine? Ladies, it's not about your vagina. I promise you. It's not about your titties. It's not about your ass. It's not about any of that. It is literally about being soft. It's about being vulnerable. Like the scariest shit to be right now.
And it's hard. And especially, you know, a lot of women grew up without having maybe a dad in the house or a male
Right.
figure in the house, or and so we don't know, but and so that vulnerability is scary.
Oh,
It
hell
is
yes.
it's hard as hell. But me, like, even when it comes to when I practice more celibacy, it's because I'm tired of having to play the game like a nigga. I want to
Mm,
let my feelings just feel and just be. And I know I want a safe space for that.
yes.
And as you know, even when we talk about connecting to your divine feminine, like one of the like when I started doing like more rituals this year, like one of my focus is just connecting to my divine feminine, connecting to
Yes.
that inner essence within myself. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it like you said, it's not about your vagina, and sometimes it's not about crying all the time, or you know what I mean. It's just being a woman is amazing. We are given just even intuition and just the divinity that we have within us to have like intuition and to feel, you know what I
Yep.
mean? And
Yep.
to like we're feeling creatures like men, like when they talk about masculine energy, it's very
very like frontal lobe. It's very like
yeah,
in your
it's very,
head, just
yep,
thinking like,
it's thinking, it's like problem solving, it's
which is
very
great and you need, but you don't want too much of that shit.
exactly, but it's also like understanding like as women we have the ability to feel and just to be delicate and just to like um
I feel like masculine energy is the analytical part of
it
you, and the
is
feminine part is the heart chakra.
that's exactly what it is. It's your head and your heart space, you know what I'm saying? And
Yin and
it's like
yang.
it is, but understanding like the difference, but tapping, because you've been very open about how you've been tapping into your divine feminine energy, and it's just more allowing that feminine space,
Yeah.
and it's like allowing you to tap into that delicacy and your
Mm,
feelings, because women, we feel, but it's not about letting your emotions run wild.
right.
You know what I mean? It's about being able to go through it, feel it, and move past it, But one thing I've learned, and I always say, like, I learned from my mom, like, I look at the essence of a woman or a good woman. I look at it also in like her ability to start over,
Mm,
because you know they always say a man is only as strong as the woman he's with.
mm.
And you see what happens when men don't have a good woman on their side. When they don't have a woman who operates from that, I don't want to say it like, because I know if we keep saying divine feminine, it's not gonna, you're gonna be like, what the fuck they talk, like, what do they, you know what I mean? But it's just, there's, you can't play the game like a nigga and think you're gonna be a good woman to him. You know what I'm saying? Or even understanding, like, because a lot of men sometimes they'll choose a woman who will let them walk all over them, who will let them speak
Intentionally. Hmm.
intentionally. And even when you're doing that, you're not connected to your divine feminine, because you're not honoring your sacred space of what you deserve or what you want. You know what I mean? Like it.
Like, I think, like, in it, maybe if we give him an example of like what that could look like, it's like, all right, so let's say that you're in a situation, you already know that he's cheating, she's cheating, whatever the case is. So your masculine energy in that situation is you trying to justify why you should stay. You trying to be like, well, I mean, if I do this or if I do this, like,
Right.
maybe like he'll stick around and blah, blah, blah. Your feminine energy is that knowing in your heart that you need to get the fuck out of this because it's not good for you. That is your head and your heart battling itself. That is your
Right.
masculine and feminine energy battling itself.
And it's also, like, because we all have masculine and feminine
Yes.
energy within us, and we all operate. And even, when it comes on the spiritual level, like, to kind of tap in what you're saying, it's like, your masculine energy is trying to solve all your problems by yourself and figure it out from here. Your
Mm.
feminine energy is knowing your interconnection to source and allowing and feeling and allowing it to happen. You know what I mean?
I love
That
how you put that. That's like a perfect example of that is meditation, where the whole goal is to turn your mind off and turn your heart on. Like,
yep.
literally, the idea of meditation is to sit in silence. Whatever thoughts come to your mind, you pass. You don't unpack them. You don't subscribe to them. You're just like, oh, that's an interesting thought. And you let it go and you continue to focus on your breath. Because the idea is to focus on your breath to where your heart chakra, like, you just start to feel things. I know it sounds like weird. Like, you got to just do it. Like, there's tons of videos and amazing content of teachers breaking it down, like, to where it's palatable, because like I
Right.
feel like it's
Because
it's
okay, so my mom taught me how to meditate,
okay.
and she even wrote a book on it. I gotta help her get
Oh
this book
shit,
out.
Meg is that source. Like,
But and I remember, like, it's because a lot of times you have to learn how to turn your mind off. and you have to learn how to sit for 5 minutes or 2 minutes. Like if you could give yourself 2 minutes of silence, 2 minutes of practicing clearing your mind, and when thoughts come up, breathe them out, don't dwell on them. You know what I mean? And focusing on, a simple meditation is to always just focus on being surrounded by white light. There is white light above your head and through your body to your feet and all around you, and just focusing on that. You know what I mean? That's a simple. And then but focus on your breathing. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then eventually you teach yourself, okay, this is that in for 5. This is that out for 5. And you don't have to count as much as out loud. Like I remember. First time I really was trying to meditate, it was when my boyfriend was cheating on me, and I knew he was cheating with his other girlfriend. And I was so mad and sad. And I remember I was like, oh my God, I need to meditate so I can fix this situation.
Oh, you didn't know, baby Meg.
Right. But, and that was how I couldn't turn my mind off because I knew he was fucking another girl or with this other girl. You know what I mean? And I couldn't turn my mind off, but I had to practice. Okay, can I at least sit for 5 minutes?
Yeah.
And that was how it started. But they have amazing guided meditations on YouTube.
Yep.
I use those because the good thing with guided meditations is they help you visualize. And the thing is that if you guys do start, learning more about law of attraction and the power of visualization for manifestation, when you visualize something, it's your subconscious thinks it's happening, which is why it's those guided meditations help, because you're doing it's practicing something, but afterwards you notice dang, I do feel a little more positive, or I don't feel as stressed. I started doing it was like a hypnosis guided meditations, and those would really help me. And that was no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, even the Headspace app, I did the free trial for a week. They've got some bomb ass guided meditations on there, and I love how you're able to select your level. So if you're beginner, you've never done it before, intermediate,
Right.
Headspace, I think it's a little. I'm not sure how much it is. I remember being yeah, I ain't paying all that each month,
right?
Especially because I know how to meditate, but I do think it's worth it. In terms of if you are able to afford it and you are trying to get into meditation, I remember being really impressed with Headspace.
Yeah.
And
I don't think people understand the purpose of meditation is to clear your mind, because it allows that disconnect is refreshing.
It is. Oh, man, I'll never forget when I was shooting Colette Lush for my creator spotlight on YouTube. It's up now. You can go check it out. And it was being behind the camera, having to direct the subject in front of the camera. It can be very chaotic. It can be a lot of noise in the moment. And there was this one, she lives in the mountains, and we were surrounded by this beautiful nature, these trees and birds. And I wanted to capture her meditating. So at first I was like, oh, should we put music on so we catch the vibe, blah, blah, blah. And I remember both of us just falling silent, and she just closed her eyes for 2 minutes, and I just was recording, and it was just silent. All we heard was birds and nature. And in that, it was just oh, wow, okay, we needed that. Didn't even realize we needed that. It felt like such a, just regrounded. I got to regroup and be oh, I remember why I'm here. Let's refocus. Sitting quiet just for 2 minutes, or even taking a deep conscious breath while you're sitting at your desk staring at the monitor, just being when
I was at a toxic work environment, I would listen to meditative music on YouTube while I was at work to keep my head together.
Wow, that's survival.
I would have chaos and I'd have chaos in this ear and all this bullshit, and I'm just listening to meditative music while it's all happening.
Yeah. Meditative music, it's that's talent to be able to escape in your mind, but I'm like, I developed that at an early age, tuning out my mother. But
Right.
like,
You're right. Like, yeah, those toxic environments come into play, or you'd be like,
you
no,
be developing
this is
some
easy now.
self-soothing skills. Yeah, absolutely. But I forgot how we got onto meditation. But I mean, regardless of how we did, meditation's amazing and it's phenomenal and everyone should do it, especially if you are stressed out, you don't know what the next step is going to be, like you just full of anxiety, like forcing yourself to sit still and just let go.
Hmm.
Like, I'm telling you, it is a
It
game
works wonders, and
changer.
you may not see the effects immediately, but
No.
again, that sometimes comes into what we were talking about in the beginning of you diligently and consciously changing your mindset and
Yep.
turning the switch on to a positive. Like, there are times where I know I need to meditate, but I'm too mad.
Yeah.
I'm like, nope, I can't. Yeah, this isn't. It's not happening right
Yeah,
now.
you're like, I'm not done honoring this anger
My
yet.
anger or my
Yeah.
feelings. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we're fucking human. And I think that's a lot of times what happens with the spiritual influencer trap is people think it's supposed to be fucking
Ugh.
roses and peaches and namaste all the time. It's not.
I don't want your Sage subscription box. Leave me alone. Like,
Like, chill the fuck out, and that's why, like, I do have a girl that I call like my spiritual advisor because, she's really helped me like with readings and just on the path I'm in right now, just having somebody I can talk to about certain things.
absolutely.
And even she's told me, like, she's like, I deal with my shit. She's like I have so much, like, and just having that human aspect, because it's like, yeah, she helps and guides other people, but she's like, I deal with my shit just like y'all.
Absolutely.
She's like, I'm a work
Absolutely.
in progress just like you. She was like, and it's like, I feel like when people are too happy or too positive all the time, I get irritated, because it's like, you can't put out a fake persona that human shit can't affect you, because I think that's what fucks people up more. Because even when I used to get mad that I wasn't being positive, I would get mad at myself, like, fuck, I'm mad right
That was
now. I'm,
counteractive.
I'm supposed to be happy. What am I doing? Like, I
For
can't. And
shame, I'm broken. Like,
I'm human and I'm crying. And my
yeah.
mom would just be like, Megan, you're human.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, you ain't gonna be happy all the time. Like, that brings me to a very important Bible verse. It's Escalantes. I'm gonna find it. But it is specific about how there's a time to laugh, a time to talk, a time to cry, a time to grow the seed, a time to reap the harvest. Like, and that's life. That's what we're here for.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's just about not staying stuck.
And as she's looking for that verse, I think this will be a great opportunity to go ahead and start closing out the episode, and just remembering and going back to, you know, being an influencer, starting a business, like whatever the case is, like you've heard me preach it before, I will continue to preach it. It is so important for you to know what your why is, what that why is, because that's going to be your compass. Your why is going to be your compass. It's going to get you out of bed on those days when you're depressed and don't feel like you're going to be able to do anything. It's going to give you the motivation to, put yourself in an extra class or develop an extra skill or put yourself out there to network. Like, your why is your lifeline. It sounds dramatic because I want it to sound dramatic because it is dramatic. Like,
It is dramatic. It's very dramatic. And I did find it. I said Escalante's note is Ecclesiastes. I don't know.
Escalante.
Girl, you
I
should.
wouldn't have known. I wouldn't have known.
But ECC, I'm going to spell it so they'll know. ECCLESIASTES, chapter 3. Ecclesiastes? I don't know. Look, I
Somebody
didn't
help
grow up
us in
in
the
the church.
comments.
I grew up
Like,
Buddhist. The Bible and stuff
my
is all.
Mexican ass would have been like, Ecclesia. Yeah, I'm sorry, y'all.
But it starts with, it says, for everything there is a reason and a time for every matter under heaven. And it just, even DMX read this verse one time, and I don't know how I found this Bible verse, but I found it when I lost everything.
Mm.
And I used to read this because, oh my God, I'm going to cry. Real moment. But I used to read this and I would remember the season I was in. And it's like a time to be born and a time to die. In order for new things to be born, certain things have to die. And that is a part of life. That is what we're on for the journey. And just always, like, as we talk about the power of manifestation, as we talk about the power of your subconscious and just, what's your why, what you want to do, always remember that on this journey, there are going to be ups and downs, and that's just life, but it's your mindset throughout.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful. I love it. I love it. And on that note, guys, I just want to remind you to listen to these conversations with an open heart and open mind. If you have any opinions, if you disagree with anything, let us know. Put it in the comments. This is a safe space for you guys as well. Like, myself, Meg, any guest that I have on this show, we are just speaking directly from our own experiences based off of the knowledge that we have and the research that we do. So we know for damn sure what we say is not law. Like, we get it. We want to be taught new things. We want to be schooled. You know what I'm saying? So
we're learning, we're growing, and that's why we talk about it, just so we could find other people to talk about these things with or have healthy debates with.
Absolutely. Healthy. It's not about changing your mind. It's not about trying to say what you believe and what you think is wrong. It's just about offering alternate perspective. It's about, hey, like, I went through the same thing, but this was my experience. Like, let me show it to you and hopefully show you guys that it's possible to have mutual beneficial copacetic and loving conversations with someone that may not necessarily have the same beliefs as you know what I'm saying? And like, that's what I believe makes us beautiful. That's what I believe creates our bond, and we shouldn't be mad at people about that. You know what I'm saying? But Meg, thank you so much once again for being
Thanks
your
for
most
having
awesome,
me.
beautiful stuff. Also, can we see the shirt really fast? Is that the Beauty and the Beast flower?
Yeah, Forever
Girl,
21.
Forever 21's been so good for that. Like, not to plug or anything, but that is like super, super cute.
They're key.
Man. So, and tomorrow, well, this will be up on Thursday. So,
So by then it should be aired.
Yes.
You'll be able to catch my interview with Johnny Blaze. It will be on Hot 702.
So I'm sorry, and I don't know if I should be embarrassed, but who the fuck is Johnny Blaze?
Oh no! So Johnny Blaze, she's a singer. She does music. She's also a reality star. She's been on Love and Hip Hop.
Okay.
She's on Growing Up Hip Hop right now.
Okay. Big deal.
She has a great story and a great journey. And but she started as a stripper, and she was a stripper and a video vixen. But she's extremely talented. She plays a vast amount of instruments. Great singer. And we're going to chop it up tomorrow about her new project coming. So
that's incredible. You guys, by the time this is up, it'll already be up, and we'll be able to find the already aired episode on the Facebook page for
the visual stream will be on Facebook and YouTube on the station page Hot 7025 FM. And if you're not able to view it and you want to hear the audio, go on hot7025fm.com. And also, I will have the link in my Instagram. Like, by the time this airs, the link will be on my Instagram. So if you follow me at It's Megs, ITSMEGZ, 2 underscores, I'll have it up by the time this airs, so you'll be able to watch the replay.
Hey, y'all, go and support our tribe, and let's keep the conversation going. That's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for joining us on this bonus episode. You already know where to find me, Rissa SoFar, all social media, Culture Fuzz, all social media. I'm also making some changes to the Culture Fuzz website. So go check it out. I don't know if
I
it'll be
love
up.
when she does that.
My new metamorphosis.
It's a new, yeah, it's always a new upgrade. It's always like a new, you're like, my Culture Fuzz is like this ever evolving butterfly, and it just comes out the
Always.
cocoon with like,
Always.
I love
I
it.
resonate with butterflies so much. And just fun fact before we log off, I am actually part Cherokee Indian, and I got in touch with my tribe. Like my aunt was able to track down like my lineage, and we got like our reservation card years ago and all that. And I finally got in contact with my tribe like a couple years ago, and I was like, "What's my tribe name?" And they're like, "It's Butterfly," and I'm like, I just I don't even thank you. Like that thank you
The
so much.
synchronicity is
So like,
real.
oh my god, synchronicities are life. So I thought that was a fun fact. But you guys, thank you so much again, and I will catch you all here next week, and you'll see Meg in a couple weeks.
See y'all next time.
Bye y'all.